Community Safety MEC in the eNCA for her thoughts about what was happening. That's Weziwe Tikana Gxothiwe. MEC, good afternoon. First, when did you get the news? When did you first hear about this tragedy? And what was your reaction?
Good afternoon to you and the viewers. I heard about the news around 5:30 in the morning through my media liaison officer who was already there in the space. We were shocked and also we were saddened by what has just happened in that tavern.
There's so many questions and answers currently. We have our colleague, our reporter on the ground there since yesterday, Aviwe Mtila. He's spoken to the lady who owns the tavern, and he's spoken to a number of other officials. We know now that the tavern has been shut down, its operations have stopped, but there are still many questions that need to be answered. For you, what do we need to know about this?
What we can say is that we are working closely with the Liquor Board and the law enforcement officers. The Liquor Board officers are still verifying the ages of the children through the information they are receiving from the law enforcement officers, because you'll recall that that tavern is having a legitimate license, but the key issues is non-compliance with the license conditions, because there's no tavern which can allow the children of the age of 13 or under 17, under 18-year-old. That's one area which will lead the Liquor Board to open a case on that. That will be finalized, and definitely the owner will be arrested on that. Then the other issue which we've engaged with the municipality is the issue of their bylaws. And it has opened our eyes that we have to engage all municipalities, that their bylaws must not indirectly extend the operational hours of any tavern. The tavern's owners must adhere with the license conditions. The license operating hours were 2 a.m. in the morning, but the bylaws are talking to 4 a.m. in the morning. So that tavern owner indirectly was within the operating hours, informed by what is entailed in the bylaws of the municipality. That is being engaged with the mayor and the deputy mayor of the Buffalo City municipality. They have to go and rescind those bylaws and amend the bylaws for the bylaws not to supersede what is within the act and what is within the liquor license conditions of any individual.
What's intriguing is the manner in which they were found. Some of them, they said, according to the reports, they were lying on the floor, they were lying on furniture. What's intriguing is what could have killed them. Are you going to encourage the pathologists to try and determine what really happened there, what could have killed them, all of them en masse like that? I mean, it's like a mini massacre of sorts.
That's what is being done now. Investigations are underway, tests have been done, they will go and submit to the lab. It's only then we can pronounce on what really happened. But we are taking out the issue of stampede, because others were just lying with nobody, especially in the ground floor. There were many in the ground floor, but there were very few in the area which is called the VIP. So we would say there was no stampede. What makes us to say there was no stampede is that there were 3 young people who came from the community when we were there yesterday, who fainted on the way to when they were brought to us. One of those died on her way to the hospital. It means, therefore, what they experienced there or what they ate or inhaled there was within their bodies. Hence, we are saying we are taking out the issue of stampede. We will wait for the results to come and we'll be able to pronounce on the result on what really had happened there.
Yeah, so the other point, you said you anticipate the arrest of the owner in terms of the liquor license conditions and what happened there. Are you going to pursue then, depending on the outcomes of the pathological laboratory results or that will determine what could have happened to them, are you going to be pursuing this matter until everybody or the person who's responsible for this, this tragedy is also arrested?
Yes, of course, a case of inquest was opened yesterday pending the investigation, referring to the owner of the tavern for allowing young people to enjoy themselves in her tavern. That's the case which is opened by Liquor Board. Then additional charges will be done immediately when the investigation is concluded.
Okay. There is a concern. I mean, this has made worldwide headlines. I mean, this story yesterday was all over the world. So South Africa yet again in focus in terms of a tragedy that nobody asks for. What would your message be as a MEC for safety in the Eastern Cape to the young people who might be listening to this and watching this, especially now as we're about to end Youth Month? Youth Month is supposed to be a month where we celebrate the youth of South Africa, not burying them.
One would say young people must not abuse their rights. Of course, they always say it's their rights to do whatever they are doing, but they must not abuse that. They must listen to their parental guidance is required to each and every child. But what is required from us is to strengthen the legislation, also to do community engagements with the members of the society. That which has happened now warrant us to have a responsibility as the society, because it would mean we won't have future leaders, we won't have future doctors. That one is killing the future of our children. So we have to say their dialogues are needed to be done with the young people in schools. Education need to be done, but it's a shock that has taken place during the youth months. Of course, I still maintain that they must know that every citizen is having a right, but we must not abuse the rights we have through our constitution.
Okay, finally, Ms. Gxothiwe, before I let you go, just to recap, so for accuracy, you are ruling out a stampede because of how the scene was found and the fact that 3 other youngsters, one of them on their way to the hospital, fainted. So it suggests it's something they either ate there, they drank there, or they inhaled there.
That's what we suspect as of now, but we'll be informed by the outcome of the investigations. But we are ruling out the stampede because we believe that those who were affected by the stampede should have died on the spot. Others have died in the VIP, which is upstairs. Others were sick when they were in their home, as they were taken back to us because there were emergency vehicles there, hence they were taken to hospital.
Thank you very much, Ms.
They fainted in their homes, but died on the way to the hospital.
Okay. How quickly do you think we'll get, how speedily the pathological laboratory outcomes will be made available to you?
I request that we afford them today because they are still on the scene. Then in the next 2 days, I think the report, because they promised that they will work, prioritize this matter because everyone wants the response on the issue. The answers need to be done to many questions which are there out in the public.
Thank you very much, MEC. That's the MEC for Community Safety in the Eastern Cape, Ms. Weziwe Tikana Gxothiwe. If you've just joined us at the end of that interview, just to recap, the local authorities there are ruling out a stampede. They suspect that the teenagers who were at the eNCA Tavern may have died due to something that they either ate or drank or inhaled, but they are still awaiting urgently. So the results, the pathological results of the test that's being done by the laboratory, which is now prioritizing this, and hopefully within the next 2 days, some answers will begin to emerge.